Welcome into Stacking the Box. I am Matt Verderame, and it is Film Friday. It is championship weekend in the NFL, the Chiefs and the Bengals. And of course, the Chiefs have had their struggles with Cincinnati, but I want to take it back to week 13. Forget about last season. No, different defense, different teams. Let's focus on this season. The Bengals won 27-24. The Chiefs defense was awful in the game. Only had one sack, very few pressures. They played a lot of zone defense in the game, and they got torched. They gave up 19 attempts and 17 completions in zone defense. Brutal job. Burrow overall was 26-31. And I want to focus on the first drive of the game. It was 0-0. This is coming with about 10 and a half to go. Now, the Bengals, if you look at this formation, very standard, okay? This is a lot of what you're going to see with Cincinnati's offense. You got 11 personnel. You got 3 wide, Boyd in the slot. You got Chase to the top left, Higgins down below, bottom right. Now, one thing I want you to notice, when we've done film a lot this year, we've talked about condensed formations, everybody inside the numbers. Look at where the receivers are for the Bengals. The Bengals love their in-breaking routes. They love to be able to open you up by standing outside the numbers and then working their way back in, okay? They like to give the receivers the space to do that. And they use their size and physicality when they go on the sideline to just win at the catch point. So on this play, you got Boyd in the slot, Higgins and Chase on the outside. Okay, you got, I believe it's P. Ryan in the backfield because Mixon was out for this game. And then you have Wilcox in there as the tight end. All right, now, the Chiefs are going to sit in nickel defense. And if you look at this, this looks like cover 3 all day long. The Chiefs were not creative in this game. They were very bland defensively, whether by design or not, I don't know. But they were extremely bland, both in their occasional blitz packages and also in the way they played. But the one thing they wanted to do was they tried to confuse Burrow pre-snap with rolling safeties down to the line of scrimmage before the play, and then they'd bail. They'd play a different coverage. Here, this looks like single high, right? I mean, this looks like a single high safety, cover 3. You can tell with the way the corners are shaded, kind of standing toward Burrow at a 45-degree angle. That usually indicates cover 3. Now, as we start to roll this, you're going to watch Justin Reed, who's at about the 28-yard line, okay? Now, as the play starts, Justin Reed is going to back out, okay? You see him backing out. Now he's at about the 25. Chiefs are going to roll into a too-high zone coverage. All right, this is a cover 2, zone underneath, and the corners, McDuffie is on Chase. Joshua Williams is on Higgins, all right, or at least over top of them. They're going to carry these receivers. But the zone underneath that you're going to see, you got Snead over top, Boyd in the slot. You got Bolton and Gay. If the Chiefs play this defensive scheme against Cincinnati in the AFC Championship game, it's going to be the last game they play this season. I promise you. All right? And here's why. I want you to watch Bolton, who's standing there at the 30-yard line, just directly over the center, so to speak, okay, 5 yards back. Chiefs are rushing 4, 7 dropping, all right? Now, Burrow's going to continue his drop here. He's going to continue his drop as we roll this. You watch him. He's going to get to his back foot, okay, right here. Now, first of all, let's look at the offensive and defensive line. The Chiefs are just, I mean, it's just comical. They can't get anywhere near, okay? Got all day to throw the ball. Chiefs right now, though, in pretty good coverage. Like, two safeties deep, there where they need to be. McDuffie's all over Chase. Yeah, Boyd's underneath. Okay, this is 1st and 10, by the way. Boyd's underneath. You know, he catches the ball here. They can drive on it. It's not really an enticing throw for Burrow. You know, maybe you try to go to Higgins. You got Williams turned around a little bit, but Williams has good closing speed. It's not an easy throw. Here's the problem. There's no pass rush. None, which was a theme of this entire game. All right? But what I want you to watch, too, is watch the intermediate level. They killed the Chiefs on this all game. This was every play when the Chiefs were in zone coverage, almost. Literally almost every play. Wilcox is making his turn into the middle of the field toward the hash at about the 24-yard line, okay? Reed standing behind him, Gay and Bolton standing in front of him. And as we run this just a little bit more, okay, you're going to notice as Burrow cocks his arm to throw the ball, guess what happens? There's still no pressure, okay? Burrow's got all day to throw the ball. Coverage is great everywhere else. He's got nowhere to go except now for Wilcox, okay? Gay has to drive on Boyd's route, correctly so. Bolton is in a tough spot. He's in the middle of the field. It's a lot of ground to cover. He's got Wilcox behind him. He's got to keep eyes on Burrow. Bolton doesn't have a feel for this. Will Cox smartly sits down in the zone, slides a little bit to give Burrow a target. Burrow knows Gay's moving toward the sideline. This is easy money here if he makes an accurate throw. As much as this coverage is not terrible, you're providing windows for a really smart, accurate quarterback. And as we run the play, Burrow's going to gun this ball right into Wilcox. And hey, Bolton's right there, Reed's right there. They're going to make the tackle. It's too late. It's 13 yards. It's first down. Like, this was not a case of the Chiefs just being awful in zone coverage. It's a case of a few things. If you play this type of coverage and you don't get home with immediate pressure, you got a problem. Now, think about this. That coverage works fine if the Chiefs get pressure there with 4, but they don't. Burrow had to wait 3 seconds to throw that football. If they get pressure there, it's either a dump off to Boyd for a few yards or it's a sack. Maybe it's a throwaway. But it's a positive play for the Chiefs. You get no pressure. None. That was a running theme throughout this game. And I'm going to leave you with this thought, too, because there's one other theme that happened. I watched every play of this game this week. When the Chiefs played in zone coverage, almost every single throw was between the numbers. Almost every single one of them. In fact, off the top of my head, I can't think of one that wasn't. It was either a dump off to a back or it was a pass across the middle, usually within 5 feet either way of the hash marks. They killed the middle of the field against Kansas City. The safeties were awful. The linebackers were bad in zone coverage. This was one of their better zone coverage snaps. They at least made it a little difficult. There were a lot of times where they got lost in translation and there was nobody home. And if the Chiefs sit there and they rush 4 and they don't get home, they're done. They've got to get home. I will tell you this, though. Not that it was overly successful, but in man coverage, the Chiefs were a lot better. They were a lot tighter on their windows. They made it much harder. Look, Burrow overall was 26 to 31, okay? And he was 17 to 19 against zone. So if you do the math, he was still 9 to 12 against man. It wasn't like he was just infallible. And one of the balls was dropped by Boyd. It should have been a walk-in touchdown. They ran a pick play, okay? But the Chiefs at least made it a lot harder in man coverage. And I will give credit to Cincinnati. Made some incredible plays against man coverage. Like throws that you just tip your cap and say, hey, you make that, you make that. If the Chiefs are going to sit in zone, they better get immediate pressure with 4. Because if they don't, they're going to get blown out in this game. But if they can get a little bit of pressure, they can play a little bit more man. I think there's a scenario here where the Chiefs actually look pretty good defensively on Sunday night. We'll see what they do. But if they do this, it's obviously a problem come the AFC Championship game.